what is the thinking behind having a Dogi as one of your defenders in your starting lineup?
Right. I was actually hoping that you guys are going to ask me that. Well, purely for the fact that when I look above board in terms of the various mini leagues that I'm in, Udogi is one of the most picked players, and obviously whenever you're trying to get an edge over your opponents, you tend not to have all the same players, then obviously there's no way of you moving up or getting an edge. So for me, Udogi, yes, he's great. He is performing very well. But I just decided to go for Romero, who's the second best in terms of that defense. He also gives that opportunity going forward, and I'm just hoping he'll be that differential when it comes to the game against Sheffield, where if Udogi is not performing and he does perform, I should have that edge over the other FPL managers. So that's how I've decided not to have him in my team, purely for the fact that the managers that I'm up against, 80% of them have him.
Sure, FPL manager Goga. I see on your bench you actually have Wisa, Bell, and Odegaard. Do you not think that Odegaard would be a better asset than Stupinian facing Man United at home this week?
Yeah, well, for me, being a Man United fan, I favor Brighton doing quite well against United in terms of the high press they play, the speed at which they play. I feel that Estupinian, he will definitely trouble United's back four. He'll assist with the overloading. Odegaard, I just felt for this specific game week, I'd much prefer to just have him on the bench. Just to allow Sterling to have another opportunity, looking at his fixtures. So yeah, it's just one of those things as well. Because I also feel that a lot of FPL managers are benching quite a few Brighton players. For some odd reason, they're backing United. Yes, I'm a United fan, but when it comes to that specific fixture, I just feel that Brighton should have the edge. They should have the hunger, and definitely Stupinian, he will give United some trouble, without a doubt.
Right. You're currently second in the log standings, all right? And I see that you, if I'm not mistaken, you're captaining Haaland for this game week, correct?
Yes.
All right. So now that all the other teams have pretty good fixtures, teams like Arsenal, maybe even Man United to that extent, with Brighton's high line, maybe Rashford can expose that. Do you not maybe think this might be an opportunity to go against that so that you can maybe captain those other players and maybe catch up some ground on the current leader?
Okay. No, thanks for that question. For me, it's still game week 5. I purely believe that with Haaland being given the armband, he's a safe bet until anything after game week 9. There are some game weeks that I'm targeting, other players. When it comes to United, I'm not entirely comfortable that I would captain anyone, even for the fact that Rashford is in the team. He's only there purely for game week 6 and 7. If he doesn't perform after game week 6 and 7, he'll definitely be on his way out. I'm just keeping him there for Brighton because I think he had quite a decent impact during the international break for England. I felt that he had a lot of energy in that game, playing in from the left. So I'm just hoping that if he does perform on the left again with Haaland in the center, he will produce, but not necessarily for me to give him the armband. I'm still happy going with Haaland. He's fixture proof, and yes, West Ham is a team that's on form, but they also play a lot of park the bus type football where they'll just wait and wait and they rely heavily on the counter attack. But with City, I back them that they will be able to be a tad bit stronger in terms of capitalizing on the opportunities. Because as we all know, City creates a lot of opportunities, and I'm just really hoping that Haaland will do the business as he always does. So for now, I'm happy keeping Haaland on the armband until probably like game week 8 and 9, once I see those fixtures that I'm targeting. Yeah.
Thank you. Please tell us, what are your transfer plans for the Game Week 5 if you haven't made them? And what are the reasoning, what's the thinking behind those transfer plans?
All right. No, thank you for the question. Well, for me, Game Week 5, I've already made my transfers. I didn't use any transfers for Game Week 4, so I had 2 free transfers. So what I did, I still had Shaw, who's injured, as we all know. I replaced Shaw with Romero, purely for the fact that I'm thinking Spurs assets are the assets to go for. They're playing really well. And with one of the earlier questions, I did highlight the fact that it was between him and Udogi. And obviously, Udogi, he's owned by quite a few managers that I'm competing against. So he's the next best thing in terms of Spurs defense, giving me that option going forward. And he scored a goal in the last game. So I'm hoping that form he will continue with it and give me a clean sheet, if not an assist, if not a goal. Looking forward to that. And then in terms of the second transfer in, I transferred out João Pedro and I brought in Darwin Nunes. I'm a huge fan of Darwin from last season. I had him for quite a bit last season. Kind of hated it because he didn't give me the returns. But what I've seen this season, with him coming off the bench, the creativity that he's shown, the goal involvement that he's shown, it's what I expected to see from a new striker. And I really believe that he's definitely going to be that differential where when it clicks, when he gets the opportunity, he will punish. And with Wolves, it's a decent fixture where Wolves themselves, they're not necessarily playing the best football. They don't seem to be having that confidence. And on the other side, with Liverpool, they are slowly, getting a lot more confident on the ball. For the fact that the last game week 4, he started as well. He got an assist. He should have got a goal where Cash got an own goal. So I feel that Darwin is a striker that a lot of FPL managers need to consider. I mean, obviously, it's a touch and go, not necessarily knowing if he's going to be starting or not. But with FPL, that's where the joys are. And I'm that type of manager. I take risks. That's what makes me enjoy playing FPL. The risks that I take, some pay off, some don't. And in this game week 5, I'm really hoping that the choices of the players that are brought in, they will definitely put a smile on my face and a grin on others.
Tell me, what would you think would be the appropriate time to use the wildcard? Which
Right,
game week?
Thank you for that question. I think for me, the wildcard is really based on the severity of your team. If you've got players that are injured, you've got players that, let's say, for example, you've got double game weeks and none of your players are performing in that game week. That's when I generally use it, where I'm targeting your double game weeks, or if it's a patch up situation where 3 or 4 players are not performing that week, then I use it. Normally, I've grown to know that the longer you hold your wild card, the better. The earlier you play it, yes, sometimes you're forced to play it early, but when these game weeks come, where there's double game weeks and with all these cup games, fixtures being shifted around, that's when really your wild card assists you, because that's when you're flexible. So for now, I wouldn't necessarily say there's a specific game week I'm looking at. I'm just looking at each game week, the healthiness of my team. If all my players are available and fit and they're playing, I'm gonna hold it. But if not, that's when I'll consider it.
You've mentioned, what makes your being FPL manager is taking risks, and I see you've been doing that a lot. Your team is definitely a differential from a lot of other teams. I just wanted to ask, just like Rashford, if he doesn't perform in the next few games, what is the plan for Sterling as well? Is he on the edge as well?
Yeah, I think Sterling he's on a lot of managers, and one thing I've learned over the FPL years is that you need to just have faith and be patient. There are many times where teams haven't been performing, and then you end up transferring a player out, and then the next 3 or 4 game weeks he's hot. And when you look at Chelsea, and I'll keep saying this, for me, Chelsea, it's going to take a while for the team to perform well collectively, but it'll always have those individuals that have those moments to carry the team. And if you look at Chelsea's fixtures, they're really decent. They've got Bournemouth, they've got Aston Villa, and they've got Fulham. A lot can happen in those game weeks, and Sterling, for me, obviously with Enzo, looking at how he played as well over the international break, he scored a goal. He played in a different position. It'll give Poch that idea as well, what he can do with his team as well. And I feel that with Sterling and Enzo in that team, there's a lot that can come out of it, with the confidence levels as well. And with Sterling now, he's a Sterling of old, the guy who picks up the ball, he takes on defenders, he beats one, he beats two, he looks for the shots, he looks to play in the corners, low cross. So he's got a lot of energy for Chelsea, and I'm holding the faith, I'm holding the faith, probably give him another three game weeks. Obviously, if the numbers don't talk, he doesn't give me those returns after game week 6, 7, 8. Because really, turning point for me is game week 9. That's where really I'm planning to change things up, because at least I'll have a full understanding in terms of who's on form, who's not, which are the teams that are rolling over the teams consistently. But for now, he'll also probably stay in. He's also on the list with Rashford. See, these are the 2 players that I must say I'm looking at closely, but their fixtures are giving them an opportunity to perform. Thanks.
Thank you, Goba. Thank you for your time, man. All right.